All right, guys, the video you've all been waiting for. And I apologize, I really meant to put this video out sooner, but you might notice behind me, I got a whole bunch of stuff in my garage again. And if you've been following the channel for a while, you know that all this stuff used to not be here. I'd moved it into a shop. Well, that was the second most asked question on the last video, is if I'm still in my shop. As of this month, I am not in that shop anymore. So that's why I've been kind of busy moving everything back home and finalizing all that kind of stuff. But that's for another video if you guys really care to even hear about it. But today's video is all about the S10, just updating you guys on everything that's kind of new, stuff that may be the same, and everything in between. So it's just going to be a real quick, down and dirty, front to back update on the S10. So let's get after it. All right, so we'll just start in the front. Oh man, it's getting a little rusty. I'm gonna have to get that coated. Anyways, the biggest eye catcher up front here is the Max Speeding Rod S400 Turbo. I'll put the link into the description below if you guys want one of these things, but it works awesome. Um, I put it up front here just for because it looks cool, and I didn't really have anywhere else to put it. So doing so, had to move the radiator and cooling system in the back underneath the bed. We'll get back there a little bit later, but so no more intercooler and radiator up front. Intercooler is down here on the bottom. So I didn't have any room up front to put an intercooler, so we put it down below, tucked it up as far as we could underneath. It is still really close to the ground, but the suspension bottoms out about probably an inch, inch and a half from the intercooler touching the ground. So fingers crossed we don't do any huge wheelies and come down really hard and smash the intercooler. But so far it's been working great. So with that as a new cold side, the cooling system in the back meant that we needed some sort of crossover up here because I'm running a remote water pump. So we've got this water manifold up here from Mazir, and this just kind of creates a crossover and runs the water back to the water pump in the back. Doing so, we low mounted the alternator. So I've got a bracket there from ICT Billet. Let's see if we can see. Kind of hard to get in there, but so we got alternator is the only thing that's being driven off of the crankshaft. So freed up a little bit of horsepower with that. And then same eBay headers going forward. This is a aluminum 5.3. I don't know the exact designation of it. Some people say LM4, some people say L33. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's a Gen 4 5.3 aluminum block. $7.99 stock heads, stock bottom end. The only thing I did was stage 2 turbo cam from Brian Tooley and springs and gap the rings. That's pretty much all that's done to this motor. Even got the stock truck intake on it. And then we are running on E85, and I have Snake Eater 1500cc injectors. Front suspension is these Speedway Motors dirt track control arms. I will warn you guys, these things are not made for putting a lot of street miles on. They will wear out fast. There's bearings right here, so if you don't grease them, they'll wear out fast. They're not recommended to drive on the street, but a lot of people do. Stock lower control arm, and I have a Viking dual adjustable coilover that was off of another vehicle, and I made it work. So it's not exactly made for an S10, but it works. And then the front end, or the steering, is converted to rack and pinion, and then I just made these homemade adjusters slash adapters to the hind joints there on the end. Let's see here. Moving to the inside, Oh, front brakes, stock S10 brakes, just drilled and slotted rotors, jegs, 15-inch spike wheels, and we're running a 165/80 R15 tire in the front there. So inside, oh whoops. One of the newest things is I actually just got the windows tinted. So got the windows and the windshield both tinted. Um, the back is plexiglass. I actually have a new back window right there that is already tinted, but I think I'm going to get it tinted more. Same cage. I get a lot of questions on videos and stuff when I talk about getting kicked out of the track, especially the last video. Everyone was wondering why I got kicked out because I have an 850 cage. Yes, this is an 850 cage, but only if it's certified. And I do not have this certified. So it is only a 10.0 cage right now. So window net, Kirky seats, the CO2 bottle for the boost controller, just a basic slap shifter from B&M, Holly Terminator, that's what we're running on. And then we got Grant steering wheel with my bump and trans brake button on it. I do have this switch panel up here from, I believe it's Painless. I don't love it, but you know, it works. And then I retrofitted some dome lights. So check that out. Real fancy. Yes, there's a passenger seat. So, you know, if people are feeling froggy and want to go for a ride, they can. Oh, fiberglass hood is from Featherlight Composites. I get asked that a lot. Subscriber actually bought this for me, and I really appreciate it. Guy by the name of Isaiah, he actually bought this and shipped it to me. So that's really cool of him. The back, you gotta excuse the mess. Still in the middle of moving stuff back. So this, just don't pretend that's not there. Rear suspension, we're stock leaf spring with Caltrax. I believe it's a competition engineering anti-roll bar, and then also have the Nicky Bobby axle mounts. So they give you a couple extra holes to adjust the Caltrack bars up and down. They also give you more adjustability on shock mounting as well. For shocks in the rear, we're just running some cheap 3-way adjustable competition engineering shocks. Nothing special in the back. Rear end is a Ford 9-inch from Quick Performance with 35 spline axles and 373 gears. Rear brakes are just your average Ford 9-inch disc brake kit, 11-inch rotor, nothing fancy. Upgraded to a larger fuel cell. It was a 10-gallon. Now I believe this is a 20-gallon, give or take. Basically for more weight biased. I want to get some more weight in the back without having lead, so I can just fill this up or drain it if I need to adjust it a little bit. So I can kind of play with my weight with that. Batteries back here. We got the weight bar. I don't even need these on here right now. It's actually probably too much weight. As you guys were seeing the wheels come off the ground in Vegas. Rear tires. I know I'm kind of all over the place, but just kind of doing this as I see things. But rear wheels and tires, this is a 2810. Yeah, it's a 10, not a 10.5. So 28 by 10 DO6 Hoosier on, I believe they're Jags or Vision. 15 by 10 with, I think it's 5.5-inch back spacing. Can't remember. So that's the rear wheels and tires. And then we'll go underneath here, see if can get a good shot of the radiator. This was probably the biggest difference. Putting the radiator and cooling system back here underneath the truck made a huge difference with getting weight off the nose of the truck and putting it in the back. A lot of people ask how well it works back here, if it overheats or anything like that. In cooler weather, I'm saying anything underneath 80 degrees, it's hard to get this thing up to operating temperature. With the water pump on and the fan on, it will almost cool down to ambient air temperature. So it's hard to keep it up to temperature. The other day, I actually drove it to the place to get the windows tinted. Hey, what's up, Roxy? I drove it to the place to get the windows tinted, and it was, I think it was like 100. Actually, I have a clip of it. I'll just play it for you guys. All right, so let's take this thing for a test drive and test this cooling system out. It's currently 103 degrees right now, so we're gonna go for a drive and see how it does in the Arizona heat. So I think it's gonna do all right, so we'll see. All right, first stoplight, we're sitting at 130. It's only been running a few minutes. I have the fan to come on, I think at 170. I kind of use the fan as the thermostat. Otherwise, if I had the fan on all the time, it would never get up to temperature. So I don't turn the fan on till 170. As soon as the fan kicks on, it drops it to like 165, and then I have the fan turn off, and then it comes back up to 170, so it just kind of stays in that range. I kind of use the fan as the thermostat, if that makes sense. So, just sitting here waiting for this stoplight. This is a really long stoplight, but you know, it's been a couple minutes and we're at 147 now. So just all right, the next stoplight, we're sitting, it got up to 180 and now it's going back down because the fan's on. So seems to be working pretty good. All right, so far just kind of tootling around and I gotta go this way. And stop and go traffic. The highest it's gotten is 192. So, like I said, I have the fan coming on around 170. So just the extra heat and everything is kind of, you know, taxing on the cooling system right now. But it is keeping it relatively cool. So I'm cool with 190. Anything below 200 I'm cool with. You know, even 210 isn't bad, but you're at that threshold where you don't have much room until it's bad. So there you have it. That's everything on the S10 front to back. I'm sure I forgot something. So if I did miss something, just put it down in the comments and I'll just answer it there. But that's pretty much everything. The biggest things that are new is just the turbo kit and the cooling system in the back. I believe the engine swap and a lot of this other stuff was all covered on the channel. So you can always go back and check out those older videos to kind of you know, get up to speed, or if you wanted to actually see some of that content, it's all back there ready for you guys to view. So, but I appreciate all you guys, you know, sticking around and hanging in with the channel while I was MIA for quite a while. A lot of you guys, you know, left comments and everything on the last video talking about how excited you are that I'm back to making videos, and it made me feel really good. It made me really want to start making more videos. It's just hard with time right now. I'm just so busy with life outside of YouTube and outside of, racing the S10 and all that kind of stuff. I've kind of got a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. I'm not really sure if I want to share it just yet. But yeah, I'm gonna try and put out videos as often as I can while I'm doing stuff. It may be kind of more daily vlog stuff. If you guys are interested in that, let me know. It might turn into something. The channel's always been so heavily focused on the S10 and racing and stuff like that. I might venture out into more day-to-day stuff or stuff outside of racing, some other things that I'm interested in and hobbies and things like that, or just day-to-day life. So do me a favor, guys, and put it down in the comments what it is you guys are interested in seeing, what you're not interested in seeing, or if it's just the S10 is the reason why you're here. But that's going to do it for me today on this video, guys. Like I said, I appreciate all of you guys for sticking around through all this, and I just hope to see you guys on the next one.